Hi everyone! Today's video is about dominance and the dominance behaviours that you can expect to see in guinea pigs. It's also a bit of an update on how our 2 new guinea pigs have settled in to bring our herd of 2 up to a herd of 4. And also, if you're worried about dominance issues, then at the end of the video I'll run through my top tips on the things that you can do as an owner to minimise battles over dominance happening in the cage once your guinea pigs are living together. Okay, so if you've been following us recently, you'll know that I got 2 more female guinea pigs to make 4 in total. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit apprehensive doing this, as my 2 older piggies, Willow and Lyra, share such a close bond. They're probably the closest guinea pigs I've ever owned, and I didn't want to risk ruining their friendship by bringing in 2 new guinea pigs, which might disturb things. However, I also knew that we had the cage space for 4 guinea pigs, and I did want to increase my herd by getting younger piggies that I haven't owned in years, and I thought that younger piggies would help encourage Lyra and Willow to be more active in their old age. So I gave in, and that's when Phoebe and Roxy came home. They've now been with us for 3 months, and that time has totally flown by. So I find guinea pig behaviours really interesting. They are such social little creatures, and dominance does actually play a big part in how they interact with each other. Guinea pigs must set up a hierarchy where there is one boss pig in charge of all the others, and then the others follow in order of dominance. In the wild, a single dominant male usually takes charge over a group of females, and then each girl within that group has their own ranking. And when we're keeping guinea pigs as pets, the important thing to remember is that we must let them set up that dominance hierarchy when they're first introduced, but also when there's any changes to the group. So let's take a closer look at the dominance behaviours in guinea pigs. First up, we've got head raising paired with jabbing or nipping, and this sounds quite aggressive, but it's actually a really common, quite low level dominance behaviour. And it's sort of the first step in the chain where guinea pigs kind of have a face off with each other, and they're just sussing each other out and seeing, well, which one of us is in charge. But it's also used a lot to remind piggies of their ranking, and usually the highest ranking guinea pig is the one that has their head highest above the other one. And when they go to jab or nip at each other, then they will open their mouth quite wide sometimes, and then just move as if they are going to bite the other guinea pig. A lot of the time it's just a threatening gesture, and they don't actually mean to cause any harm. And as you can see, I see this behaviour happening a lot in my piggies. Another super common behaviour is rumble-strutting. Rumble-strutting is sort of a waggling side to side dance paired with a low rumbling sound, and it can vary a lot. So at the low level, you've got it quite quiet and not really directed at any other guinea pigs, and the guinea pig is just maybe walking across the cage and then start doing it randomly. Then you've got the higher levels of it where it is directed more at another guinea pig, and it is more of a definite show of dominance. And it might also be paired with chasing them around the cage and even mounting the other guinea pigs sometimes, which females do if they're in season, and sometimes when they're not in season they just feel like doing it. I see rumbling when my piggies are in season, and probably when they're just feeling a bit more hormonal than usual. Next up, we've got teeth chattering, which can be used as a show of dominance. Not always though. Sometimes I think teeth chattering is just a show of general annoyance or even impatience. Sometimes my guinea pigs will just be sat there looking grumpy, chattering their teeth for no apparent reason. As a dominance behaviour though, it can be quite short, quiet and brief, or louder and more continuous. When it's louder, then it's usually paired with rumble strutting or chasing to make it a more aggressive behaviour combination. With my girls, I rarely see teeth chattering, if I'm honest, which is a good sign for me because it means they've got quite a stable dominance hierarchy. Teeth chattering is still fairly normal though, and I wouldn't be too worried about it unless it comes before some of the next more scary behaviours. And these more scary behaviours are things like lunging, huffing and fighting. Here the level of aggression is definitely stepped up. Huffing is quite a subtle one, and it's when guinea pigs let out a quick puff of air, and it's usually before they start lunging or fighting with another guinea pig. More obvious signs of imminent fighting are very loud teeth chattering, circling each other, and raising the hair on end on the back of the neck or all along the body. If you saw Little Adventures' recent introduction video, then I think it was Gatsby maybe was doing this a lot in response to the new male being put in there, and that was kind of a lot of almost fighting behaviour that we're seeing. When introducing pigs, you need to keep watch for any fighting type behaviours. If a fight breaks out and it looks really nasty, don't put your hands in, but throw a towel or a blanket over them to break things up. And the trick is to avoid doing this until you are certain they are really going to fight seriously. This way you avoid intervening until you really have to. And the other side of dominance behaviours, which don't get talked about as much in these kind of videos, are the submissive behaviours. And they're just as important as the aggressive ones, because they tell us when a guinea pig is backing down and letting other ones be in charge. Squealing is the most obvious submissive behaviour, and it's quite a striking one because it's so loud, and it's basically a guinea pig squeaking when they feel threatened by a higher ranking pig. Other submissive behaviours can just be staying still, not reacting, or running away. So what happened when I introduced Phoebe and Roxy to the others? Well, as baby guinea pigs, they automatically assumed their place at the bottom of the pecking order. They're basically not big enough or scary enough to present any real challenge to dominant adult piggies. And it means that introductions with younger piggies often go much more smoothly than introducing adults. I wasn't sure what dominance behaviours I would see from the others. Willow doesn't really get into any dominance battles anymore. I think she's just a bit old and doesn't really care. Whereas Lyra, who is the current boss pig, she wanted to make sure the younger piggies knew that and they weren't going to cause her any problems. So she would jab and nip at them on quite a regular basis, but nothing too much that would give me cause for concern. And after 3 months, Phoebe and Roxy are a lot bigger, but they are still bottom of the pecking order. And the relationship between Phoebe and Roxy is interesting, because although they are sisters and born at the same time, they definitely don't get along as well as Willow and Lyra do. They don't like being in each other's space, and they will confront each other if they get too close. I'm sort of putting this down to them being in direct competition with each other for dominance and still trying to sort out who out of them two is in charge. So if you've introduced your guinea pigs and there's no fights breaking out, but in the cage there are still quite a lot of battles over dominance, maybe you're just worried that your guinea pigs are a bit more stressed around each other than they should be, then there are certain things that you can do to improve the situation. First up, we've got looking at your cage size. So is the cage big enough for the amount of guinea pigs you've got in there? And there's that really good diagram produced by Guinea Pig Cages which shows us the number of guinea pigs and then how big the cage should be. And I'd always suggest that you aim for that recommended size or bigger. And then you've got the cage layout. So think about adding more hidey huts so that each guinea pig has its own. They don't have to share, which again might lead to confrontations. And the same goes for water bottles and food bowls. Have you got enough of them? And also, are they spaced out in the cage so that one guinea pig can't commandeer all of the feeding areas and keep the other guinea pigs away? You want to make sure that hay, for example, is in several areas around the cage. These things might sound minor, but they can really help guinea pigs get along better, especially the cage size option. And having a bigger cage in general is really good for your guinea pigs, so I'll link to some videos I have on cages down in the description below. If things escalate and your guinea pigs are fighting, maybe they've had a fight and one of them is injured, then that's when you should consider separating them. Although it's a shame to separate them, you can use a divider or something in the cage so that you can still see and interact with each other, which might mean that they don't get as lonely. Okay, so that's everything for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting and useful. If you did, then please hit that thumbs up button right now. And if you're not subscribed yet, then please hit that subscribe button too to stay notified of new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!